So it turns out this P. Diddy arrest may be far more meaningful and sinister than we could have ever imagined. You guys have got to check this out.
This is a rerun. Eddie Griffin, comedian, says Diddy is a dead man, won't leave prison after rapper's sex trafficking arrest. Oh my. Rapper Diddy, accused of forcing women into elaborate and produced sex performances described as freak-offs, will now have to serve time in New York City prison, once described as hell on earth, because it's known for suicides and murders. Once home to Jeffrey Epstein's Madame Ghislaine Maxwell and rapper R. Kelly. Ooh. The similarities with Epstein are quite astonishing for Diddy. And here's why. And not because of the depraved and degenerate acts or because of the sex trafficking, which they're both accused of. And I'm not trying to minimize that, obviously. It's evil. But look at the policies of Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and the entire Democrat Party corporate superstructure for open borders. I mean, this is like the greatest human trafficking operation in the world. You can't tell me you're against human trafficking when you open our borders and allow this to happen to our country. At least 10 million people have been human trafficked into our nation. Many of them women and children. You can't tell me you're for that. You can't tell me you're against human trafficking when you're for those policies. Okay? Okay. Right? Okay. Cognitive dissonance here. All right. Let's live in reality. What they're actually against is being found out. What they actually needed to kill Epstein for was not the fact that he did these horrific and despicable acts, obviously, which he did, but it's because he had politicians doing those acts on tape, which is exactly why Diddy may not walk out of that prison alive. This is what makes us finally click into place and say, no, this dude's done for. Epstein's sin in the eyes of the elites was that he had information on them. He had compromising video of them. It wasn't that he was doing these horrible, despicable things. That is what repulses you and me as moral citizens living in what we thought was a just society. No, that didn't bother them. In fact, they let Jeffrey Epstein off the hook. They had him in 2008. They had him in 2008 with underage prostitution charges, sex trafficking charges. Dead to rights. Put him in jail, let him out scot-free. A few months later, they let him go right back to that. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that that's what happened. Actually, the guy who did that, Alex Acosta, said that he got messages, signals from higher up that he is to let Jeffrey Epstein out of jail. So don't tell me that they're bothered by any of that.
If you think for a second that these people in power care about P. Diddy's life, you would be mistaken. I believe they would try and get rid of him at a moment's notice, especially if he has very compromising material on politicians and very prominent people in our government. Oh my goodness, he is a dead man walking. What happened with Jeffrey Epstein, I think we all know what exactly happened. I mean, don't you think that the American people have a right to know who is engaged in this type of material, who is engaged in this type of filth? It almost seems like the more degenerate and the more deviant the behavior that they engage in will translate to the more dangerous and despicable things that they will do to keep that hidden from the public eye. So something that happened to me in the last couple of years is I don't rule out any conspiracy whatsoever. Call me a conspiracy theorist all you want, but it just seems those same theorists, year after year, they're starting to look like Nostradamus. They're just predicting what's about to happen. But let me know, do you guys think P. Diddy lasts another month in prison?
Where are the Epstein videos? Where's Epstein's client list? Where is any of that stuff? Well, God, yeah. Look at this. Diddy bodyguards say that there are tapes of politicians at freak-offs. Claims the rapper learned from other music moguls. Oh no. Sean Diddy Combs, former bodyguard, reveals that the scraped rapper kept tapes of politicians taking part in his infamous freak-off sessions and claimed that his arrest is tied to alleged corruption scandal currently gripping New York City politics. Gene Deal, former insider who protected Diddy through the 1990s, told the Art of Dialogue podcast that a producer's indictment could expose high-profile officials and celebrities in the Big Apple. This is bigger than Diddy, he said, without naming who the tapes are of. He spoke about the days that Diddy was indicted in New York and charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation, engaged in prostitution, and now faces the prospects of decades behind bars. Okay, so here he is as the bodyguard there. The charges against Diddy came 6 months after his mansions in Los Angeles and Miami were raided by federal agents, and they found thousands of bottles of baby oil lubricant. The freak-offs would see Diddy ply women with drugs before coercing them into marathon sexual performances with male prostitutes, according to the prosecutors. Speculation has fallen on the alleged tapes of these sessions. However, prosecutors have not commented on anything being filmed. Asked if there are celebrities in the freak-off deal, responded, Diddy gave celebrities parties. What do you think? Okay, well, there we go. He says that the Bodyguard says that the raid specifically targeted Diddy's property. The arrests were part of something bigger than Diddy. He's just black as Jeffrey Epstein. That's all it is. He noted that despite allegations of criminal wrongdoing lawsuits, Diddy's ex-girlfriends, California did not bring charges. Instead, the charges were brought in New York, which Deal said he believes is linked to a slate of resignations and allegations of corruption against Big Apple officials. People aren't going to tie this together. Oh, no. Okay. The Bodyguard implied that Diddy himself was victimized early in his career by other powerful musician figures. This does actually, there is a cycle of victimization that does happen and abuse. Puff wasn't born a monster. He was made into a monster. He was made into a monster because of what happened to him. And then he had to go, he learned that behavior and had to go do it. I mean, I'm not going to apologize for, anybody. Everyone has something bad happen to them in their lives. That doesn't mean you have a right to go do that to other people. Karma was bound to catch up with them. So these things are going on right now. The learned behavior that he got from these people who was not living spiritually correct, he went and transferred that to people. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that amazing? Evil is, an energy that doesn't rest. And so he's saying that the evil spiritually, people that were not living spiritually correct, that evil energy gets transferred then to other people.
It reminds me of the old saying that the eyes are the window to the soul. When I look at these celebrities' eyes, I just see death. I don't see any life or any soul in there. It just seems like it has been so warped and distorted by Hollywood. It just seems like a nasty place to live. And I personally believe we haven't even scratched the surface of what goes on in Hollywood. So many times you see these big time celebrities and then they just walk away from the fame and the millions of dollars. And you often wonder, why are they doing that? Are they stupid? They could just be set for life for one more movie. But the thing that we don't understand is we don't actually know what they're engaged in, what they had to do to get that movie, TV show, commercial. We don't actually know what goes on behind the scenes. I mean, just hear Justin Bieber speak nowadays in 2024. What P. Diddy and the Hollywood industry did to this little kid who stepped on the scene, it's despicable. And the media was trying to tell us that Justin Bieber was some punk-nosed kid a couple years ago, when in reality, it seemed like that was a cry for help.
About Diddy and Justin Bieber and all these other young, aspiring musicians, and some of the allegations of what they were forced or made to do in order to get their careers made, in order to get their record deals. Whew, man. What politicians could possibly be in these tapes? What politicians has Diddy been hanging out with? Boy, I don't know. What politician has very creepy personal background of lies and deceit and hidden away, dark, closeted stuff that's been coming out in people's diaries and in interviews? Who could it possibly be? Who could possibly be the person? Who could it possibly be? Man, don't know.
You've got to take your own initiative, just like you did and just like I did. But government can be a little bit of help, and your vote will determine whether the people in power reflect what you care about or whether it reflects what the fat cats care about. And that's what voting's all about.
I want to say to you right now, while you're in front of me, sir, that right there makes sense. I've been hearing a lot of bull today. I have been disenfranchised all day because I'm asking questions. They not answering my questions. This is how young people feel. When you want to be the president of the United States, you call your man, call MTV. We're going to give you a platform. We're going to give you a way to speak because you on to something, kid. Well, you on to something. You may.
Oh, man. Oh, it's getting excited. Obama having to wipe the sweat off his brow. Wow. Has anybody asked Obama about his excitement sprung Diddy moment here? Very interesting. Wow. Funny how you don't find any moments like that with Diddy and Donald Trump. In fact, Diddy, when asked about Donald Trump.
Trump need to be banished.
He's such a clown. Such a clown.
The guys who lock up the sex offenders need to be banished, right? The guys who end human trafficking, like Donald Trump, by closing our borders, they need to be banished, right? To these monsters. Isn't that amazing? Like, put it all together. How to become a celebrity? Go to Diddy's parties, fly to Epstein's Island, hang out with Harvey Weinstein, lecture everybody else about morality. Yeah, these people are such cretins. The FBI now has the following: Anthony Weiner's laptop, all WikiLeaks, Hunter's laptop, R1 Brothers hard drive, Epstein files, Diddy files, and tapes.
The reason I know Donald Trump is not engaged in any of that disgusting behavior is because if he did, don't you think that would have been exposed? Don't you think if he was on the Epstein Island, everyone's name would be hidden except for his? Somehow his name leaked. I know for a almost certainty these people will do anything to try and stop him, because maybe if he gets into office, he's going to release the Epstein thing, the JFK thing, the 9/11 thing, and maybe that's going to annoy some people. Maybe Trump in his first administration, he listened too much to his cabinet members, and maybe some people there were members of the swamp, and they got into his ear and they told him not to release anything. But this second time around, he knows who to trust, who to not trust, and let me just say, if he gets in and releases these materials, the news cycle in that period will be absolutely bonkers. But I'll tell you what, America will be much better off for it, because I think the American people need to know what happens in the shadows. Because what happens in the dark will eventually come to light. I mean, don't you wonder why 99% of Hollywood hates Donald Trump? Maybe he's going to expose some of these people and they're just terrified. But who knows? Maybe I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. What celebrities do you think were engaged in P. Diddy and his parties, so to speak? I'd love to hear your opinions. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe. And I wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.